The first sign wasn't the message. It was how conversation started ending when I entered the room. Not abruptly, just earlier than they should have. A pause, a glance, someone checking their phone like they'd remembered something urgent. I told myself it was nothing. December always made people distracted. The message came 3 days later, but not to me. My cousin left his laptop open on the dining table. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a charger. The screen lit up when I moved the mouse, a group chat already scrolled halfway. Photos. Bookings. A beach house. A caption. Christmas finally done right this year. I stood there longer than I needed to, reading names. Everyone was there. My parents, my siblings, my uncle. Just not me. For a few seconds I tried to solve it like a mistake. Maybe there was another chat. Maybe I was added later. Then I saw the earlier messages, my mother's name. "Let this selfish one celebrate Christmas alone for once," my uncle had replied. "You sure about this?" And my father right after, "It'll be quieter without the constant tension." I didn't scroll further. The charger was still in my hand when I stepped away. No one told me. Not that day. Not the next. The house just started moving around me differently. Suitcases appeared. Lists were made out loud but never toward me. I was present but not included. Like a piece of furniture they had learned to walk around. I thought I would say something. I didn't. There's a strange kind of control in not reacting. It doesn't feel strong. It feels like swallowing something sharp and deciding not to bleed in front of anyone. So I adjusted. I stopped asking what they were planning. Stopped offering help. Stopped filling the silence when dinners got awkward. It wasn't dramatic. No one called it out. But the air shifted slightly, like a room losing heat 1 degree at a time. They left on a Thursday morning. My mother knocked on my door before they went, not to explain. Just to say, "There's food in the fridge." I nodded. She hesitated, like there was more she could say, then didn't. The door closed. The house exhaled. The first night was the hardest. Not because I missed them, exactly, but because I realized how much of my day had been shaped around them, their schedules, their moods, their expectations. Without that, time felt unstructured. I cleaned the kitchen even though it wasn't dirty. Checked my phone too often. Started a movie and didn't finish it. But by the third day something settled. I woke up without waiting to hear movement in the hallway. Made coffee the way I liked it. Not stronger, not weaker. Worked longer hours. Took calls without background noise. It wasn't happiness. But it was steady. The first message came 5 days into their trip. From my uncle. "You okay?" I stared at it for a while before replying. "Yeah." He didn't push. Just sent back. "Good." That was all, but it felt different from everything else. Like someone had noticed without turning it into a scene. The calls from my parents started later. Not emotional, not apologetic. Practical. "Hey, can you check something for me? Do you still have access to the account? Where did you put the documents from last year?" At first I answered quickly, out of habit. Then, gradually, I didn't. Not out of spite, just timing. I'd finish what I was doing first. Call back an hour later. Sometimes two. My voice stayed even. I helped. But only when it fit into my day. 2 weeks after they left, my father called again. This time there was something different in his tone. Not panic, but pressure. "We're having an issue with the booking," he said. "They're saying the payment didn't clear properly." "That's strange," I said. "Yeah, well, you were the one who set up most of this stuff last time. We thought it'd be fine." I didn't respond right away. He filled the silence. "They won't extend our stay unless it's sorted. And there's some problem with the transfer limits." I could hear voices in the background. My mother, someone else talking over her. For a moment, I pictured it. The lobby, the conversation, the slight embarrassment of not having control over something that should have been simple. "Okay," I said finally. "Send me the details." It took me 20 minutes to understand what had gone wrong. Another 10 to fix it. A call to the bank. A confirmation email. A brief conversation with the hotel's billing department. Nothing complicated. Just familiar. When I called my father back, his voice had changed, quieter. "Is it done?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "They should have the confirmation now." There was a pause. Then, softer than I expected, "Thank you." When they came back, the house didn't feel the same. Not tense, just adjusted. My mother tried to resume small routines, asking if I'd eaten, commenting on things that didn't need comments. I answered politely. My father was more careful with his words, not overly kind, just measured, like he was aware of something he hadn't been before, but didn't know how to name it. My uncle came by a few days later. We sat outside, not talking much. After a while he said, "House felt different without you there." I didn't ask what he meant. He didn't explain. We just sat in it. No one brought up the message. No one apologized. But something had shifted. Quietly and permanently. They didn't exclude me anymore. But they didn't assume me either. And I realized, somewhere in the middle of that silence, that being left out hadn't just taken something from me. It had returned something too. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to notice the difference.